It was a lie. It was not impressive at all. Welcome to Trisha's world. Trisha meaning me. Today we're going to talk about COVID so far. So COVID started in the UK back in 2020 March, and back then we all thought, well, according to Boris Johnson, we just wash our hands and mind our business. So of course everyone's like washing their hands like hundreds of times. As soon as they touch anything, they wash their hands. Okay, mid-March comes the big lockdown. So all of a sudden, like, tons of people are dying. Like, it was really a horrible time. Like, I think by the time it got to April, like over 1,000 people a day were dying. So it was really a horrible time. And the truth is, I was really scared. I was really scared to go outside because I was thinking, oh shit. I remember my friends just called me. They said, oh, do you want to come over and stuff? And I'm like, no, I'm not coming over. You're going to see me. And we started to do house parties, online house parties, video call, group call, because I was one of the person that I was like, you ain't going to see me outside. I ain't coming nowhere, no chance. Because people were dropping out like flies. So of course we all survived. Well, not we all survived, unfortunately a lot of people died, which I'm sorry to hear, and condolences go out to their family. But lockdown kind of lifted, where we're just wearing masks and stuff, and like groups of 6 were allowed to go out until it got lifted. I think that got lifted, if I remember correctly, between June and July. And my mum like basically said, oh, do you want to go to Jamaica, and then we can travel to the Caribbean because there's not really any COVID there. So me being me, I don't want to be locked down, and like the experience so far was horrible. So I was like, hell's yeah, let's do it. And I was happy to go because I'm just like, why not? It's nice, it's sunny, it's gonna be, you know, it's buzzy, it's gonna be wow. So like, okay, so we got our tickets, and of course we were shopping. It was an exciting time because like, I'm not going to be in lockdown anymore. There's like pretty much no restrictions in Jamaica. But so we got our flight, we got our tickets, and before we went, we had to ask for permissions to go to Jamaica from the Jamaican government. It was like some online form, and I think my acceptance took ages, and I was like, oh my god, like they're not gonna accept me. But anyways, I got my exception, and we all got the flight. So our flight was actually a really busy flight. Like, it was so packed. And I remember we were on the plane, and this lady was coughing. Like, she was coughing. The coughing was very bad. It was bad where people actually stood up and looked around, me included, obviously. And I was like, oh my god. And so like, people that were sitting around me, they were like, oh my god, she must have COVID. So everyone that took off their mask around that time actually put their mask back on, and like even the person I was sitting next to her was feeling some kind of way. But anyways, the lady eventually stopped coughing, and we're all back in our own zone. I was like getting really annoyed because, like, you know, I slept, I woke up, and we still couldn't reach. And so I started to annoy my mom, and she's like, leave me alone, just watch TV. So anyways, I was watching my TV. So anyways, we got to Jamaica, we survived. It was a safe flight, smooth and everything. So the plane arrived. We landed, and you know, as we do, we jumped up, grabbed our bags. Little to us knowing that we ain't going nowhere. So we had to sit on the plane. Then there was like some police officers came on the plane, and they're like, okay guys, so now you've arrived, as you know, there's COVID restrictions going on. And we're like, oh shit, really? What's that? And they're like, okay, so when you come off the plane, you have to social distancing, where you have to do 6 meters apart, or is it 6 feet apart? Okay, you guys know what that is. Anyways, so we did our social distancing after the plane, but mind you guys, there was no social distancing on the plane at all. Nothing. We were all packed like sardines. So anyways, we got off the flight, and so we had to, so halfway between immigration and getting off the plane, there was like a checkpoint where, if you've been to Jamaica before, you know, usually it's literally just immigration, and then you go and grab your bags. So anyways, this checkpoint was a shocker to us, because we're like, okay, so this is the COVID restriction that the police officers were talking about. So at this checkpoint, you had to stop, do your temperature, they ask you questions about COVID, if you've got any symptoms, if you've been in contact with anyone, blah blah blah. So anyways, everything was no symptoms. They took our temperature, it was all good, and on we go. They gave us this form where you have to fill in twice a day, once in the morning when you wake up, and just before you go to bed. So we're thinking, okay, now we've done it, we're gonna go to immigration, all good. So anyways, we went to immigration. It was like, I think like a few seconds. It's really quick. So we're thinking, okay, yes, we're going out. Because I'm thinking I want to have some patty. Anyways, after that now, we stumble on this other roadblock. This lady, so she's like, oh yeah, so you need to download this, what do you call it? You need to download this app. So as we do, we're like, no, we don't have a phone. And she's like, well, if you don't have a phone, do you have a tablet? And guess what? I had my iPad in my hand, and I'm just like, oh. Anyways, my mom, she was like, oh no, I don't have a phone. Because if you don't have a phone, so basically they can't put an app on your phone or device to track you, to track your location. So anyways, I downloaded the app and did everything, and my mom, she missed it because she's dodgy. Anyways, so we also had to do this little video to the government of Jamaica, saying that if we have COVID, we will take care of our own medical expenses, etc. So anyways, and they said, okay, you have to quarantine for 14 days. And we're like, okay, fine. But as you know, when you just arrive in Jamaica, before you get home, you have to do your little stops. So my mom, of course, she had to stop to see her friend. And so by the time we get home, we couldn't even go shopping to get food to quarantine. I didn't even get my patty. Anyways, so it's the next day now. We're at the house and it's all great. We're in a nice community. It's a gated community. So it's all beautiful, like literally it's really nice there. So in the morning, there's actually no food in the house because no one stays there. So my mom called one of her friends and they're like, yeah, no problem, they'll get us some food. When they arrive at the gates, because the gate is community, they have to check who actually comes into the little community. And so because we didn't have a local SIM card at that point, because we had only been there for less than 24 hours, we were only communicating by WhatsApp. So my mom's friend called and said, oh, they won't let us in because we're not at the gate, our name's not listed at the gate. So my mom said, okay, let me speak to them, and they refused to speak to her on the person's phone. So obviously we're annoyed because the sun is very hot, no exaggeration. Because by this time we went in August, so that's still summer if I'm right. I think that is still summer. So you imagine if it's hot in the UK, imagine in Jamaica. So like it was hella hot. So anyways, we decided that we're just gonna walk to the gate, and the gate is actually 20 minutes walk, and if you walk in the sun 5 minutes, you legit feel like you're gonna pass out. Like it's crazy. Because I'm thinking that, you know what, yeah, I'm a hot girl, there's no way I'm gonna walk an umbrella in the sun, it's not raining. My mom walked with her umbrella and believe me, I had to be a part of the umbrella. I had to be like, do you know what, I want some. I was dying. So so we got there and we got my mom's friend in and we got her shopping. So the guys at the gate said to go to the community centre to let them know that you know, we've obviously just arrived and we want to put some people on the gate so they can come in. So anyways, we were too exhausted, so we went straight home. So the following day we decided we were going to go to the community centre within our gated community, mind you. So we got there and we knocked at the door, no one answered. So we knocked at the window because we saw someone moving in there. And the lady came to the window and she's like, how can I help you? And we're like, oh, we're from such and such address, and we want to let you know that we want to add someone to the gate. So before my mom could finish speaking, she's like, what are you doing here? Mom's like, what if you let me finish speaking? She's like, no, you're supposed to be quarantined. And mom's like, well, we haven't got any food and we want to add people to the, you know, to the gate list so they can come in. She's like, well, okay, you can do it this time, but if you come outside again, I'll say you're quarantined. We're gonna call the authorities. And I was like, are you joking? So anyways, I've got a bad taste now, yes. I'm just like, do you know what? Let's just go home. So anyways, we went home and my mom had loads of drink there, which was very good. So we had this Sorrel Beer, which is like Red Stripe, some like fruity, it's like Alka-Pop. It's like really light beer. It's really nice. It's actually very tasty. So if you're in Jamaica, try it, or if you're not there and you're planning to go, do try them. It's really good. So anyways, it's actually really good. We actually really had a good time. We had lobster, because lobster is actually really cheap there. So my mum was like cooking it every day for me. We had lobster, we had so much seafood. It was really amazing. So we opened a store there, like a clothing store, clothes, shoes, everything, which was great. And but another surprise that I wasn't expecting in Jamaica, I didn't expect the beaches to be closed. So that was a real shocker. I was like, oh my god, no beach in Jamaica and it's hot. Everything was closed. And my mom, can you believe it, she didn't have a swimming pool and she had space for it. Like, why didn't she have a swimming pool? Really? So I was like, okay, fine. But eventually one of her friends told her about a river that was open, and the friend's like, oh, it's so amazing. It's like, yeah, it used to be a bit rough, but now the government spent money and cleaned it up. So I was like, okay, let's go, I'm excited for this. When we went there, it was not. He was like, oh my god, it's see-through. And I'm like, okay. I was really gassed up. I was like, yeah, I want to go. Because mind you, yeah, this is like, so we've been there for like a month now. So it's like the end of September time now. So like, I'm destined to feel some river or beach water on my body. I'm just like, bring it on, I need this. So anyways, we got dressed, you know, we got our swimsuit on and we're like, on we go. So we went to this river called Salt River, Black River, maybe Salt River. It's in Old Arbor, I think, or Black Maypen. I'll add it in, I'm not sure. Anyways, so we went there and it was a lie. It was not impressive at all. In fact, I really didn't want to go in the water. I was just like ill. It was all like green and like, it was not my idea of like a river. My idea of a river is like Blue Hole in Ocho Rios. That is so beautiful. Even like looking at it with your actual eyes is beautiful. And I was just like, what is this? I'm not going in that water. There's no way I'm going in the water. Are you crazy? I'm not going in. So anyways, by this time, my brothers had arrived in like late September. So they had just arrived, so they were happy to go. So I was like, okay, fine. So they were there and they were in the water and they're like, oh, it's actually not bad. It just looks a bit gross, but when you're in the water actually feels really good. And I'm like, I'm not coming in there. I'm not. Really won't. I'm not going in there. It's disgusting. I'm gonna get a disease. And so anyways, eventually they convinced me, and it actually turned out to be a really nice day. Like really, I really actually end up enjoying it, even though I would say it's gross. It's not my cup of tea. I wouldn't choose to go there again. I still think it's a bit gross. And of course I went home and showered because I'm just like, oh, I probably brought some disease on my skin back. But anyways, actually was a good day. Actually really was a good day. I really actually end up enjoying it. Because like, even though, to be fair, I wasn't actually doing anything. I was actually kind of like standing around and watching my brothers having a good time. So, it was alright. So now, all the beaches are still closed. So we went to, we did a small tour of the island. So we went to Port Royal. We went to Portland, which Portland's actually pretty beautiful, apart from the scary roads that you have to drive on to get there. But it's actually really, really nice there. And of course we went, so to get to Portland, you have to drive past St. Thomas. And I don't know if you guys know the story about the river that it's basically a land, like a big plot of land. When I say big, like massive, more like the correct word. And apparently a dad left two brothers this amazing bit of land, and they actually fought each other to the death rather than splitting the land in two. And the land actually went underwater, and so there's a certain time of day where the land just smells really horrible and turn red at like blood. So it's a really sad story, but the land is massive, still underwater till today, so no one ever got a chance to live on it. I suppose that's just a sign of greed, really. But anyways, that's not really my story. So we went to Portland, and there's like really amazing rivers and beaches there. It's so beautiful. Fortunately, closed again. But anyways, so we also drove on the I'm gonna call it the back old roads to is it Guy's-Hill? I think it was Guy's-Hill. I've got an auntie that lives somewhere there, a few aunties and stuff that live somewhere there, so that was really nice to get to see them. And also it was nice like driving on the old roads. There's like, you know, really nice sceneries and stuff, so that was somewhat fun. And okay, so now we are in early December. So in December now, so we're at my mum's clothing store, and it's alright, it's going good. A few days before Christmas, someone broke into the store. Can you believe it? Someone broke into the store, and it's really shocking because we spoke to everyone in the community, and everyone seemed to be very nice, very welcoming. And what's crazy is when we got there and realized the store was broken into, everyone came over and they're like, oh my god, who could have done this? And like they walked with, it's like, so they used really long sticks, not like, you know, like some flimsy things, like some really long, like, you know, like a pole, but like an actual stick, like a tree branch, like two of them to break through the glass, which is the glass door. But it was like grilled, you know, for security reason. So that was there. So that was the only reason why the store actually didn't get, you know, they didn't actually clean out the store, but they took a good amount of things. And it was just really sad because obviously it's Christmas, and that's the biggest and busiest time when you got a store or you're selling anything in Jamaica. So that was sad, and like that did make me feel a bit scared. And I was just like, and then to top that off, one of these top gangsters from the area died. And I was like, oh my god, this is it. I'm so scared now. So I was actually in the store when the person died, and I was playing music and on my phone, probably on Instagram, as I do. So so this guy died, and everyone was like running to go and see him. And of course my mom's like, don't go, we don't know him, we're not from here, it's best to stay out of people's business. So of course I listened to her advice and I didn't go, because the truth of the matter is I didn't actually know the person. I've only been there like for 2 months now, 2 going on to 3 months, so I didn't know the person or even the person's name or his backstory, or in this case his story of him dying. But that only made me feel even more scared, and like by this time I'm just like, I'm over it, I'm ready to go back home. But of course in the UK they were going through a serious lockdown again, because it's winter time, and as you know, COVID is really high in winter. It just really spiked up when it comes to winter time. So of course the Jamaican government, they banned all flights going and coming from the UK. So that's just a disaster for me now, because I'm just like over Jamaica, not impressed anymore, and I just don't want to be there. And the only place I really felt safe was being at home, because it's a gated community and literally no one could come in unless they've been authorized. So I was over it. I was actually over it. So my mom, obviously, like, she was actually over it as well, because her initial plan was to stay in Jamaica for like about a year or so, but like go to the Caribbean islands in between. So all of that we wanted to do, we couldn't do that, because the islands that we actually planned to go, they were either full of COVID, like Panama, they had high amount of COVID, Curacao, which is another one of my mom's favorite places to go. I was excited to go there because, you know, I've never been there and she loves it there. We also wanted to go to St. Kitts and Nevis. They didn't have any COVID, but they weren't allowing anyone to come in their country. Fair enough, because the country was actually pretty clean, no COVID. So anyways, my mom found out that Barbados was allowing people to go there, so we booked a flight to Barbados. So I'm so gassed up, because like I was so over Jamaica. I was like, whatever, I'm happy to go. So we booked a flight from Barbados to the UK. And so when we booked our flight now, so now come January, early January, when we're planning to leave, we're like, okay, so now we need to book COVID tests. COVID tests in Jamaica is hella expensive. Like there's like 30,000, 70,000, some mad kind of money. Some of the places are more expensive than in the UK and the US. And I was like, bloody hell, what are we gonna do? Because mind you, so we would have to book a COVID test to leave Jamaica. Because we were staying in Barbados for like a few days, we had to do a COVID test to come out of quarantine in Barbados, then a COVID test to leave from Barbados to the UK. So the COVID test is becoming almost more expensive than, you know, an actual flight. So anyways, because we were so over it, especially me, I was just like, I can't stay any longer. I desperately need to go. So I had the job to call around and find the best place or the cheapest place to get the COVID test. So we found the University of West Indies, which was actually pretty good. So we all booked our COVID test. We end up going the Friday, and we're leaving on the Sunday. So we were expecting to get a result back on the Saturday morning. Of course we didn't, and we're thinking, okay, fine, fair enough. But we didn't get it. So our flight was very early. I think our flight was like 8:30, 8:15 or something like that, really early in the morning. So we couldn't check in online. So we got to the airport very early. We got to the airport, I think like 6:30. And when we got there, we unfortunately couldn't check in because we didn't have our COVID results. So now we're at the airport, we're panicking, as you can imagine. We're thinking, shit, we're not getting on the flight. And my mom's like, oh my God, that's it, we're not getting on the flight. So I'm thinking, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I was like, okay, so we're at the airport and we're thinking, shit, oh my God, where is our COVID test? We're not gonna make the flight. So of course I'm phoning around thinking, oh my God, I need to speak to somebody from the university hospital. So I got through to somebody who gave me the number of the actual doctor who was releasing all the COVID results. So I called him, I was like, please can you, you know, prioritize our 3 tests, because, you know, we need to get on the flight. Our flight is in like, check-in started in 15 minutes. And he's like, okay, no worries. So 5 minutes later, I got my results. So I am buzzing now. So my brother's like, oh my God, what, are you gonna go by yourself? But I'm like, no, I'm not gonna go. Meanwhile, I'm thinking, I'm leaving you guys. Anyways, so I think like 2 minutes later, my brother's result came in. Where was my mom's result? She's thinking, oh my God, you guys are gonna leave me. And she's like, okay, you guys can go. And I'm like, don't be silly, we're not gonna leave you. Guys, you already know. I'm thinking when I get to Barbados, I'll just book her a new test. Anyways, she eventually got her result and we are happy because we're on the flight. Good times. And by the way, I got my patties when I'm leaving. No, actually I'm lying. I had patties every day. That was actually really good. That's one of the things I actually really enjoyed in Jamaica. I had so much patties. Like, people were buying me patties, KFC, which I'm not really a fan of. I know. Can you imagine? I'm not a fan of KFC in Jamaica, but I'm not really not. Actually, I don't like KFC in general, so it's not just in Jamaica. So anyways, we're on the plane to Barbados now. We're gassed, we're buzzing, we're happy, we're leaving Jamaica, we're leaving the danger zone. This man on the plane behind us is dying of, we don't know. And anyways, so the guy's dying and we're like, oh my God. So we're like, help, this guy's dying. My mom now, she's so funny. She's like, oh, I've got what he needs, I think, to check his blood or something. And she's like, oh, I have it, it's in my bag. When she checked her bag, she's like, oh, it's in my bag in England. This lady, is she serious or what? So anyways, there was actually a doctor on board, which was quite lucky. He actually sorted him out, and I didn't actually know that it was actually a connection flight until our plane stopped in Antigua. I did not know. I was just so gassed to leave. So anyways, the guy got taken off in Antigua and I don't know what happened to him afterwards. So anyways, we got to Barbados in like, I think like 6 hours. 6 hours later, we're in Barbados. So it was a smooth flight and everything was great. It's a very small airport, so guys, when we got to Barbados, so we had to fill in this form, like an immigration form, but we fill it in before we got to Barbados, so we fill it in prior to check-in. So when we got there, of course they asked us for that form, and it was all good, so we all had the form. But oh my God, every 3 steps you took, you had to speak to someone else. We spoke to about 20 persons before we got to immigration. Immigration is actually pretty smooth because it's just like, they don't even stamp your passport. They kind of like scan it and then like, they're like, okay, have a good day. That was it. And then our bags were outside waiting. So it was actually a quick process. It was just like really, really long. You know, in regards to every step you took, you had to speak to someone else. So I don't know if that's really good for COVID, because like COVID's supposed to be social distancing. And we were just speaking to too many people, in my opinion. But I was all in 2020, so I don't know if that's changing now. My mom has since gone back to COVID this year, 2021, so gone back to Barbados this year, 2021. So I'll ask her what's the new process, but last year was annoying. So anyways, we got our bags and we're outside now. We've of course booked a hotel, because you have to book a hotel to quarantine or else you won't go on the plane. So we've got our bags and we're outside now, and I think they drove us for like 20 minutes and they charged us 100 US. Barbados is one of the most expensive islands you will ever go to. It's small, but it is beautiful, and I went there before COVID. I think like 2020. I went there in 2016, and it was really, really nice. I had so much fun. It's not the kind of fun you have in Jamaica. I think because I'm more used to Jamaica, and I just appreciate it more. The vibes, the partying is just very different, but it's actually still loads of fun. So anyways, we got to the hotel, and when we got there, it was more expensive than I thought it should be. So of course, knowing me, I spoke, and I got them to give us a better price. So we got that. But then, to top it off, we had to stay in the hotel room, as in, go out, you go on your balcony and look at the swimming pool, and cannot go. You're not even allowed to go in the corridor because we're deemed as dangerous, because we weren't vaccinated by then, and there was no vaccination available anyways. So they were like, you have to stay in your room. And because we were wearing like a red wristband, and that wristband literally had a tracking device in it. So if you're outside your room, they will know. If you leave the hotel room, if you leave the hotel grounds, they will know. And if you went anywhere with the red wristband, they will not let you in any shops, any venue at all. How do I know this? So on my 5th day, I had to go and do the COVID test, because I was trying to, 1, finish my quarantine, and 2, I was flying home the next day. So of course I went to get my COVID test. When I was leaving the COVID test place, I got my results straight away, because I had a lateral flow test. I went into a MoneyGram place to get some money, because I'd sent money from my UK account to myself. They refused me. They actually refused me outright. And I had to go back to the hotel for the hotel to cut my wristband, and then I had to go back, and then they had to call the hotel to check if I was telling the truth. Can you believe that? So now we're up to 2021, and we're still in COVID. To be fair, COVID in 2021, the early part of the year was all good. Everything calmed down a lot, and yeah, unfortunately a lot of people did die along the way. I don't have any family member that died from COVID. I've had a lot of family members that had COVID, and thankfully they all survived. So to all the people that lost their family in COVID, a special condolence goes out to all of you guys. I imagine it's a hard time, and now COVID is back at us again. We're possibly going to go under another lockdown. We've got this new variant, which is obviously taking over. So it's really a sad time, and I imagine there's a lot of emotional and mental breakdown from COVID. So if you are going through that, I hope you are speaking to somebody, and there is somebody that's out there looking out for you. Thank you guys so much for listening to my story. You might not think it's, you know, all that important, or even, you know, remotely important compared to all the people that died, but it's my story. During those moments of like someone breaking into our stores, you know, people dying around us, you know, all those things, like, you know, me being scared of so much people dying at COVID at the start of it, it's all important to me. It's all a part of my journey, and I'm so happy you took the time out to listen. So thank you so much. Carry on, you know, watching my channel, watching the space. Do remember to subscribe, because I've got so much more good things coming. I've got challenges coming, I've got reviews coming, I've got so much more. So do carry on watching. Thank you so much, guys. Love.